Hey Yankees fans, let's get into it, because there's a lot to unpack right now with the team, especially when it comes to the pitching staff. The Yankees are entering this season with some key questions and a mix of excitement and concern. Let's start with Carlos Rodon. He recently underwent elbow surgery. Not a major procedure, but enough to sideline him for the start of the season. The surgery was meant to remove loose bodies and shave down a bone spur, so it's more preventative than anything catastrophic, but that still means he won't be part of the opening day rotation. And that raises a lot of questions about the team's pitching depth. Rodon has struggled with injuries in the past, which have affected entire seasons, and he was arguably the second most reliable arm on the team last year. With him starting the season on the sidelines, the Yankees are going to have to get creative to make sure their rotation remains strong. The broader conversation around the Yankees this offseason is all about pitching upgrades. There's been a lot of chatter about how management, led by Brian Cashman, is planning to approach this. One name that has dominated headlines is TK Skub, who has been nothing short of phenomenal. The Tigers have reportedly started negotiations with him for an extension, but the numbers being discussed are staggering. We're talking well north of $400 million in potential long-term deals, which puts teams like the Yankees in a difficult position if they want to make a move. Skub has been in elite form, and after posting a 2.21 ERA with a whip under 900 last season over 31 starts, it's clear why he's considered one of the top pitchers in baseball. He's racked up 241 strikeouts in just under 200 innings pitched, which is mind-blowing. To put it in perspective, the only other pitchers to achieve that level of dominance in consecutive seasons in recent decades include legends like Clayton Kershaw, Pedro Martinez, Bob Gibson, and Sandy Koufax. That's elite company, and Skub is right there with them. The Yankees have always chased excellence, and adding a pitcher of that caliber would send a strong message about their intentions for the season. Of course, the financial side is always a challenge. Skub is expected to reset the market for starting pitchers, especially considering the contracts we've seen recently for top-tier arms. We've seen Shohei Ohtani, Yu Darvish, and Garrett Cole all sign massive deals, and now it seems like Skub will set a new benchmark. For the Tigers, paying that much might not be realistic, which means they could be open to trading him. That's where the Yankees could come in, provided they're willing to invest heavily in pitching talent. Even if a trade happens, there's always the risk that Skub could leave in free agency after a short stint, much like what happened with Juan Soto in Washington, where the team had to recalibrate after losing a major talent. Still, having the opportunity to bring in someone like Skub, even for a season or two, would drastically improve the rotation. Imagine a core featuring Skub, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, and Cam Schlitzer. That's a rotation that instantly becomes one of the most formidable in the league, a group that could carry the Yankees deep in October and give them a legitimate shot at contending for the World Series right away. Then there's the situation with younger arms who could be used strategically. Luis Gil and Will Warren, for example, are promising talents who could be slotted into a bullpen or swingman role to support the rotation early in the season. This approach would allow the Yankees to manage innings carefully, especially with Cole coming off surgery and Rodon still returning to form. It's a thoughtful way to balance experience and youth while keeping the team competitive from day one. With these options, the Yankees could essentially run a six-man rotation early on, which has become more common in modern baseball as teams prioritize long-term durability and effectiveness over traditional five-man rotations. It's an exciting concept because it allows the team to maximize the talent they have, protect their stars, and keep everyone fresh for the grind of the long season. Beyond the Yankees' internal options, there are other pitchers around the league creating buzz. Hunter Greene from the Reds is another name to watch. Greene has shown flashes of brilliance, but his durability has been a question mark. In his first 4 seasons, he hasn't yet reached 27 starts or 160 innings, which raises concerns about long-term health. Still, when healthy, he has been excellent, posting a 2.76 ERA and a whip under 900 in his starts. Teams with deep pockets and playoff aspirations, including the Yankees, could see him as a strategic acquisition. If the Reds decide to explore trade options, there could be significant interest, especially considering he is under team control for several more seasons. Acquiring a pitcher like Green could give the Yankees flexibility, either as part of a rotation or as a high-leverage bullpen arm, depending on how the team wants to deploy him. The opportunity to add young, controllable pitching talent is rare and could be pivotal in shaping the team's future, not just this season. Back to the Yankees' rotation plans. The key challenge is balancing proven veterans with high-upside additions. While bringing in a top-tier pitcher like Scub would be headline-making, the team also needs to ensure they maintain depth and manage the workload of existing stars. Max Fried has shown flashes of brilliance, and Cam Schlitzer could emerge as a dependable option, particularly in the early months. The Yankees are in a unique position where they can mix elite talent with promising prospects, giving them a rotation that is both dominant on paper and adaptable in practice. They've always been a team willing to invest in excellence, and the current offseason presents a perfect opportunity to reinforce that identity. Adding a new ace, whether through trade or free agency, could redefine the team's trajectory and give them a legitimate shot at competing at the highest level. When you look at the numbers, the Yankees are building a rotation that could rival any in recent history. The combination of elite arms, strategic youth, and depth in the bullpen means they have options to weather injuries and long seasons. Even with Rodon missing the start, the team has avenues to remain competitive and avoid early setbacks. The challenge will be executing these moves quickly and decisively. With teams like the Dodgers, Mets, Red Sox, and Giants also looking at top pitching talent, the competition is fierce. The Yankees need to act strategically to ensure they land the right pieces without overextending financially. Every decision this offseason will have a ripple effect on how the rotation shapes up and how competitive the team can be when the regular season begins. And beyond just rotation concerns, there's the excitement of seeing how these pitchers perform once they're on the field together. The synergy between veteran aces and young talent can create something special, and the Yankees have the resources to make that happen. If the team manages to bring in one or two elite arms while keeping the current core healthy, we could be looking at one of the most dynamic pitching staffs in recent memory. Fans should be watching every move this offseason because it will directly impact the team's chances of contending for a championship. The strategic additions, the management of innings, and the potential for new talent all come together to paint a picture of a Yankees team that is serious about winning right now, while also planning for sustained success in the years to come. Now, as we continue looking at the Yankees' pitching situation, another layer to consider is how the bullpen and supporting arms will play into the team's overall strategy. Even with a potentially stacked starting rotation, the postseason is often decided by who can hold leads in high-pressure situations, and that's where relievers become just as critical. Luis Gil and Will Warren could be key pieces here, serving as swingmen who can start games in a pinch or come in for extended relief appearances. Having versatile arms like that allows the Yankees to manage their big-name starters' innings more effectively, particularly early in the season when Carlos Rodon is still recovering. The ability to pivot between starters and relievers without losing quality innings could be the difference between cruising through April and May versus scrambling to stay competitive. It's a delicate balance, but one the Yankees have the depth and the experience to navigate if managed correctly. And while the internal options are exciting, the off-season trade market is always a huge factor. Names like Hunter Green from the Reds are suddenly popping up on everyone's radar. Green is young, extremely talented, and under team control for several more years, which makes him a strategic asset. The challenge has always been his durability. In his first 4 seasons, he's never hit 27 starts or pitched 160 innings, which raises legitimate questions about long-term health. But when healthy, Green has posted numbers that rival some of the best young pitchers in the game, with an ERA under 3 and a WHIP barely over 900 in his appearances. Teams that can stomach some risk in exchange for a high ceiling, like the Yankees, are naturally going to be in play. If the Reds decide to explore trade options, there could be a bidding war involving multiple big-market teams. The Yankees' ability to offer a competitive package while protecting future assets will be critical. Acquiring Green could give the Yankees flexibility, not just in the rotation, but in terms of bullpen depth, or even as a long-term ace-to-be, shaping the franchise's pitching landscape for years. Meanwhile, let's not forget about the financial side of things, which is always a major consideration for any major league team, particularly one like the Yankees who are constantly under the microscope. Bringing in a star like TK Skub or even trading for someone like Green requires careful planning, especially when balancing long-term contracts versus immediate performance. The Yankees have always been aggressive when it comes to pursuing elite talent, but they also have to be mindful of their future flexibility. Overcommitting on one pitcher could limit opportunities to bolster other areas of the roster. At the same time, failing to act decisively could leave the team vulnerable to other contenders swooping in. That's why every move this offseason carries enormous weight. It's not just about filling gaps. It's about constructing a rotation and bullpen that can dominate through the entirety of a long season and carry the team deep into the playoffs. The Yankees also have an advantage in that they can combine experience with youth, something many teams struggle to balance. Veterans like Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, once healthy, provide a foundation of reliability and leadership. Pairing them with high-upside arms like Max Fried, Cam Schlitzer, or even a newly acquired star creates a rotation that is both elite and adaptable. The beauty of this setup is that it allows the Yankees to absorb setbacks, whether it's a minor injury or a slump, without drastically compromising performance. If one starter needs to be pulled early, the team can lean on a young arm or a swingman to bridge the gap. That kind of depth is a luxury few teams possess, and it's a key reason why the Yankees remain perennial contenders. And then there's the psychological edge of adding elite talent. Bringing in a pitcher like Skub isn't just about the statistics. It's about sending a message. The Yankees are signaling to the league, to fans, and to opposing teams that they are serious about competing at the highest level. It's the kind of move that can energize the clubhouse, boost confidence, and set the tone for the entire season. Having a rotation where opponents know they are facing some of the most dominant pitchers in baseball can also influence the dynamics of games before a pitch is even thrown. That kind of intimidation factor, combined with the actual skill on the mound, is a potent combination that few teams can replicate. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In what could be one of the most shocking shifts in Major League Baseball in recent memory, whispers around the league suggest that Mike Trout, the perennial superstar of the Los Angeles Angels, has reportedly parted ways with the franchise that drafted him and may have already agreed to a deal with the New York Yankees. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation hint that negotiations have progressed rapidly, sparking a frenzy among fans and pundits alike. Trout, often hailed as the greatest player of his generation, has spent his entire career with the Angels, a team that has struggled to match his brilliance with consistent postseason success. The idea of him leaving the West Coast to head to the Bronx, where the bright lights and storied history of Yankee Stadium await, has sent shockwaves through baseball circles. Rumors suggest that the Yankees, desperate to bolster their lineup and chase another World Series title, have been quietly pursuing Trout for months, crafting an offer that the Angels could not or would not counter. While insiders caution that nothing is set in stone, speculation is rampant about the implications of such a move. The Yankees, known for their deep pockets and penchant for blockbuster signings, could be about to add a generational talent to a lineup already loaded with stars. Meanwhile, Angels fans are reportedly in disbelief, with social media buzzing with a mixture of anger, sadness, and disbelief at the prospect of losing the face of their franchise. The timing of this rumored move also raises questions. Could this be the beginning of a full rebuild for Los Angeles? Are the Yankees ready to reshape the American League landscape with Trout as their centerpiece? Industry analysts suggest that if the deal comes to fruition, it may alter the balance of power in MLB for years to come. For now, the baseball world waits with bated breath, eyes glued to every cryptic tweet, every hint from agents, and every late-night rumor. Mike Trout to the Yankees, if it happens, would not just be a signing. It would be a seismic event in the sport a story that fans and historians would talk about for decades. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.